welcome to the Snow West Show. I'm your host, Ryan Harris. We're jumping right in here. We're just going to dive right in. We had this podcast set up. We were going to do it tomorrow, which is Saturday. It's currently Friday afternoon here, setting up at Haydays. Wind's been crazy all day long. We've just been trying to keep canopies from not blowing away. Haydays kicks off tomorrow morning, and you guys Polaris has a big reveal going on tomorrow that involves Caleb Kesterke, and this is Nels Eide from Polaris. And Nels, let's jump in there real quick. You just made a transition within Polaris. You came from more of the engineering team, and now you're kind of running the marketing department?
Yeah, so marketing manager for the snow team. So actually came up through marketing originally at Polaris on the snow side, and then spent the last 3 years on the engineering side, kind of doing some product planning, and excited to be back on the marketing side. Got to deal with our athletes. They're kind of a pain, but otherwise we're excited.
The one downfall of your new position. You were still dealing with athletes with the old position, but you're more responsible for them now.
Yeah, I have to sign your contract now. So.
Well, it sounds like you take pretty good care of your athletes, because what's going on this weekend is a big reveal. It's a custom one-off mod sled for Caleb, and this is like taking the factory 9R race engine with boost, right, and building this backcountry weapon. What'd you say it hit on the dyno?
Yeah, it's fun 260 in Roseau before we brought it down, so hopefully that's
260 horsepower.
Yep.
And that's on 110.
That's just 110. Yep.
God, that's insane numbers.
It's hard to actually understand what that is going to feel like, because I've never ridden a sled that has power like that. Like my brain doesn't even comprehend what that's going to feel like.
No, because your 190, 200 claim number on a stock Patriot boost, right? Mm-hmm. That's just insane. Like, that sled is going to. And is it any lighter? I know you did like custom rails and a bunch of other stuff on it.
Yeah, it'll be, between the bodywork and exhaust and stuff, it'll be we didn't weigh it. It'll be about 30 pounds lighter. So.
Oh, about 30 pounds lighter. Just about 30 pounds. Like, you say that I was waiting for like 3.5 pounds, 4.5 pounds lighter. 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah, between the bodywork, tank, and exhaust and stuff like that. But it wasn't just a pure lightweight build. Like, it's very much we wanted it to be a rowdy, aggressive backcountry sled. It's got big rails in it, 2-inch shocks. Like, it's got some heavy parts in it too.
I think that's the cool thing. This sled is built to do what I want to do with it. It's not necessarily like a deep snow specific sled or like a tree line specific sled. It's built to do everything and conquer the mountain like however way I want to do it. Having those custom rails, having the big reservoir shocks, like that's going to allow me to push the stuff in the air that I want to do, push like launching off pillows and that type of thing. And then the extra power is going to make it all happen a little bit faster and a little bit bigger.
Well, I want to dive into like every specific on this sled, because that's what I kind of geek out on this stuff. And it, like we were just talking a minute ago, it kind of got me in trouble a couple years ago up at Keith's race shop. Because hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching the Snow West Show. Subscribe to the Snow West Magazine YouTube channel and see all of our past content and all of the episodes we have coming down the pipeline. Real quick, just want to say thanks to the companies that support the Snow West Show. These are awesome companies that have been involved in the snowmobile industry for a long time. Please go support them. Fly Racing is the #1 gear brand in Supercross and Motocross, and they bring that same product innovation to snowmobiling. Whether it's monosuits, helmets, boots, gloves, or goggles, Fly Racing has you covered for your snowmobiling gear head to toe. Check them out at flyracing.com or Fly Racing Snow on socials. And thanks to Deviant Ink for supporting the show. Head on over to deviantink.com and check out their custom wrap builder with new interactive design tools that make designing and customizing wraps easy. Their new colorizer tool randomizes color combinations until you land on the look you love. Then try the design mixer tool to see all the Deviant Ink designs in those colors that you've selected. Check it out at deviantink.com. Patrick Custom Carbon is the industry leader in clutch balancing and lightning, with over 50 years experience in the snowmobile industry to make your snowmobile clutches run smoother, faster, and more efficient. For more information, go to patrickcustomcarbon.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram. And thanks to Tempest Optics. These goggles feature an automatic lens heating system that sets the bar for fog prevention. We wear them. They just signed Steve Martin. They have a huge assortment of lens options. They're easy to swap. We get 3 to 5 rides on a single charge out of these, and they will stay charged for a very long time. There's no on and off switch, no external battery block, no power cords. Just charge them and ride. Check them out at tempestoptics.com and on social media. And thanks to Caliber Products for joining the show. Caliber Products has been a leader in trailer glides and snowmobile shop wheels for years, but they have a whole catalog of cool accessories. And one of the coolest things that we've seen is the Traction Ladder HD. This allows your track to engage with the ramp sooner for safer and more controlled loading on any sled deck ramp or any bed loading ramp. And we use the Rover 360 snowmobile casters and sled wheels, and we love how easily we can move our snowmobiles around inside the shop without marking up the concrete floors. Check out all the products that Caliber offers at caliberproductsinc.com. Now back to the show. I dove in a little too far.
A little too deep. That's okay.
Back, but that stuff I just love because it's like motocross. And that's where I would love to see the industry get, is like, you can go see Eli Tomac's bike and see all the work stuff. Like, it's out there for the public to see. But we can't do that now because we're so seasonal that everything's, like development for 2-3 years ahead. Mm-hmm. So it's just so hard to do that and have that same level of access. But I'm going to push it anyway.
Yeah.
But we're going to go that way. But Caleb, you just got back from Chile, right?
I did, yeah, like a week and a half ago or something like that.
So your video that you posted, did you post that one yesterday or the day before?
Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Like what was the elevation you were riding?
14.5 was the highest I got up to. So I did a bit of riding around 14, and then a lot of riding a lot lower than that. But it gets really noteworthy once you break like 12,000 feet. That, you can reach that in the States pretty easily, but anything over 12 is just kind of...
What were you riding? Was it a boost?
Yeah, it was a boost. Yeah, 155 boost.
So you're hitting the point where it no longer builds power and compensates for the power. Like, you max it out, like 10,000 feet, right? About where it stops.
Yep.
Compensating for the altitude.
Pushes 9 pounds at 10,000 feet, and then anything above 10,000, it just keeps pushing 9 pounds, but loses a little power as it goes up. So
what did it feel like at 14?
It felt like a boost, just a little less power. It ran impressively well for being a completely stock
Pretend
sled.
Nels isn't here. Like, pretend Nels is like back at his truck. Like,
think about it this way: we're riding a highly specifically built sled at 14,500 feet, and I was doing hopovers and bow ties and ripping it up this like crazy powder climb, 100% stock. That's pretty wild. Now, no, it didn't run like a stock boost runs in Sealy. Like, yeah, there's a big difference there, but the fact that I could ride a completely stock sled and do the things I wanted to do is pretty wild.
Yeah, but you could take like a 99 trail RMK
and do hopovers and bow ties.
And do hopovers
at 14,000 feet.
And make that thing. Well, I don't know about
can't.
14,000 feet. Yeah, you could do some pretty crazy stuff on a trail.
I can't do that at 14,000 feet.
Not at 14, no, but maybe at home. But it is crazy because you guys developed these snowmobiles and we've come through all the NA progression that we possibly could, and I feel like we hit a wall, and then it was really boring there for a while, and then the factory turbos came out, and then snowmobiling just became like the most incredible thing again. Like, not that it wasn't, but it kind of got stale there for 5 or 6 years. Being in the industry for 30, 40 years, the factory turbos just changed the game, but I never really factored into like they'd be at 14,000 feet because you just don't see that. Like, you peak out at maybe 12 in most spots in Colorado, most spots in BC. Like, you're not going to get that extreme elevation, but to hear you go down to Chile and ride that stuff and hit 14.5, I've never really comprehended, like, we're going to be snowmobiling that elevation. And nobody else is. Like, who else is down there doing that stuff? Like, hitting that elevation. Most people go to Chile and they ride a little different zone than what you're doing.
Yeah, most people ride with like sled Chile out of the like Temuco region, or that's where they'd fly into. That's where all Chris's stuff was, which I did ride there for like a week and a half, and then I went back to Santiago, drove like 3 hours out of Santiago, and that's where I got into those really tall mountains. There's an outfitter there, I think it's called Dos Tiempos, and he mainly does sled skiing. So he tours guys up, but he has new sleds and rents to sledders as well. So I just hit him up on Instagram. I was like, hey, can I come ride for a couple days? And literally paid him $600 a day to rent sleds from him.
Really?
And just go ride. Yeah, and at the end of it, he ended up hooking us up and giving us a pretty good deal. But yeah, literally just like paid to go rent Polaris sleds there.
Well, he better give you a deal because a million people just saw his sled climbing this mountain.
Exactly.
But you also have to keep in mind, like, sleds are so novel there and so hard to get, and he has so much money tied up in it. And, if I'm tying up days that he could be making money, I'm happy to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was my next question is, like, how did you get a snowmobile? Because I thought you were down doing the sled Chile thing. How did you get a snowmobile up to this different location? But you found this dude on Instagram and just hit him up and, hey, this is Caleb Kesterke. I'm just coming down to ride. Can I borrow your sled?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, something like that. He doesn't have as big of a name in the sled industry because, like, he does mostly sled skiing stuff, but he's been there for a long time, like, I want to say like 14 plus years. And actually, Polaris Engineering, hopefully this story is okay to tell, but at one point, Polaris Engineering went down there and was testing with him like over 10 years ago. So he had all kinds of stories of like showing those guys around and riding that area with them.
I remember that. I remember Marty talking about
Axis. Axis was a lot of work, and there were some last-minute trips to Chile in July to work on Axis RMK.
So that would have been 15, 14?
Yeah, like 2013, 2014, because it would have launched spring of 15. So 10, 12 years ago.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, 15. Yeah, I remember Marty talking about that and going down there because you ran out of snow in North America and you still had work to do. So you how do you get sleds down there? Do you fly them?
It's not a cheap decision in the meeting when we decide to go to Chile. But yeah, they flew them down there and flew guys down there, and they went down there and worked, sent data back home. Guys at home would work on it, send it back, and yeah, there's some pretty crazy stories from the Chile trips.
What's that meeting like? Like is it okay? We're not going to release Axis this year. It's going to be pushed back a year. No, we're going to release it this year, but we have to do some more testing.
At a basic level, that's basically the choice. You know, like we talk about when, you know, like if Razor wants to launch something new, if they got to push it 2 months, okay, we launch that stuff all the time. If you want to launch snowmobiles, you launch it the last week of February, the first week of March, or the following year, the same time. So that's really the conversation is we can either push it or if we think we can do it over the summer. And I mean, over the years, the guys have been to Chile, Iceland, you know, up on the glaciers in Alaska. Like it's been some pretty wild trips to get it done. But
if you go to Iceland, and I like where this is going. Like, how do you do validation in Iceland? Because it's such a different snowpack.
Yeah.
So that's everything.
You know, I never went. That was before my time. But Marty and Lyle and them would tell stories about Chile, and that was always kind of part of the asterisk that they always had on Chile was it's so different in so many different ways that you can go down there and get some good learnings done, but it's like you experienced, like it's so different than what most people ride in North America. And then you got the other elements too of they got different fuels down there, they have like some different other stuff like that. So they replicate it best they can and you can get some work done, but it's definitely not like, and it was never treated at Polaris like a 1-for-1, like you can ride in Driggs or you can ride in Chile, like they're very different animals.
When we were in Wyoming at your guys' test facility in Wyoming with 1 year, it was Axis. It might have been 850. It might have been 18, 19, somewhere around there. And Jesse was there.
Yeah.
Marty was there. Jesse was there, and we were talking about validation and that whole process. Like, and you guys, they were telling us that you validate cal at every 500 feet, from 0 to like 12,000.
Yep.
Like every 500 feet. How? Like, it's hard to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, so we call it calibration validation, which is a lot, so we call it CalVal. But that's exactly it. Like we've got not only, it's kind of a matrix of elevation and temperature, and we basically try and fill every single spot on the chart as best we can. I would say we spend a lot more time in what we call like the core areas, right? Like where most people ride. So on the mountainside, that's, you know, we call it 3,000 to 11,000 feet, right? That kind of covers pretty much everything. But then we have corner cases, we call them. So like Alaska or Sweden, where you're, you know, down by the sea, or you get up at Chris's or Matt's where you're at 12,000 plus. And then you throw the temperature in there, like 12,000 plus at 5 below zero is a lot different than sea level at 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And sled's got to work in both spots and everywhere in between. So it's a big exercise for sure. The guys put a lot of miles on the trucks and trailers driving all over the countryside trying to get it done.
It's crazy. There's so many questions I have for you on the engineering side, like tracks and chassis development and all that. But Caleb, I want to talk to you about, you and I rode at Dan's place, like when Dad started Next Level Riding Clinics. And I remember Dan telling me, like, yeah, you should come this day. There's this kid, Caleb Kesterke. He's a phenomenal rider. You should come out and ride with him. But he's been here for like 10 days, so he's pretty worn out. He's pretty tired, but you need to come ride with him. This kid's going places. And so I came over and rode with you, and it was just a whiteout blizzard. Like, we didn't really do a whole lot. We just kind of did some tight tree riding. And then just to follow your career from that point to now, like pretty much being the number one name in the industry as far as technical mountain riding goes right now. Talk to me through that process. Like, how did you get into snowmobiling? How did you get into this athlete aspect of it? Because you didn't race, you didn't hill climb. Like, you've kind of forged your own path here where not a lot of ambassadors and pro riders have done. How did you get to this level?
Man, you could talk for hours and hours on that, but I'll try to just summarize it like the best I can. Got in the sport super young. My dad was taking me out riding when I was little and liked it, but wasn't like overly obsessed with it until I was about 13 years old, and I watched Barant and the Schooled films, and watching tree riding, it all kind of clicked. I was like, that is sick. Like that makes snowmobiling so cool, seeing a snowmobile go through the trees and actually use skill like that to maneuver it. So then at that age, I became pretty obsessed with it and was like, I want to be a pro sledder, and had no idea what I was doing, but bought a GoPro and just started going out and riding and recording it. By the time I rode at Dan's place, that was, what year was that? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was it was a Summit XM.
Yeah,
so that would have been.
I was already several
15.
years into like pursuing that, and
15, 16, somewhere around there.
Yeah, wasn't getting as much traction as I wanted, and just kind of doubled down on like fitness and trying to create a different riding style, and that was kind of the start of that like aggressive riding style that I was going after, and yeah, just put 100% effort in every season, and it didn't really, it still doesn't, like my seasons don't feel that different now than they did then. Like I just take the resources I have and go out and do the best I can and have as much fun as I can while doing it, and here I am.
So you started out, like when you started getting big, you were getting famous for huge jumps, like enormous jumps and technical stuff, like dropping in through trees full throttle, hitting this little gap and then jumping through the forest and like landing, like hitting this spot with about 3 feet margin of error, and just so tight and technical. And then you were doing that, and that was just progressing so fast. And everybody, like, this will date me because I'll sound like an old man. You're sitting there watching this being like, God, that's not sustainable, man. Like, you can't do that. Like I used to ride the sand dunes on dirt bikes. I grew up riding St. Anthony sand dunes, and I broke my back on a KX 450 up there. Just over jumped and just wadded myself up. But did you get a point where you had an injury? Did you back off the jumping and get more into the technical riding? Like what was that transition?
Originally, I was super passionate about tree riding and technical riding, and I was telling people like, yeah, I want to be a pro rider, and I had a couple of people telling me I needed to get into jumping to be a pro rider. So I started dabbling in it. Wasn't pushing it too hard, but then I started riding with Andreas Bergmark, and that really opened my eyes to what you could do with jumping and flips and rotations, and kind of inspired me. And riding with someone like that pushed me, and I learned from watching him and whatnot, and started pushing that side. And that's probably the era that you're talking about, like maybe 2018 to like 2022 or something like that. I was really pushing air stuff. It got into sniper landings and like unique hits through the trees. That was like really fun, and it took a lot of skill, and just really pushed as hard as I could without feeling like I was taking too much risk. Then I got into freestyle and hitting ramps. Wanted to go to X Games at the time and had a bad injury that kind of set me back. So I like pulled back from some of the jumping a little bit. I still jump. Probably people have probably seen some of the jumps on Instagram. Definitely still jumping, but I'm not pushing it to the same level I was then. Just trying to lower risk a little bit.
Do you talk about the injury at all? Is that something you want to get into? What happened?
We can. Yeah, I've covered it before. Just overshot a freestyle landing and then took severe damage to my neck, a lot of soft tissue damage in the ligaments and muscles. And that was 3 years ago, and I'm still dealing with symptoms and still recovering from it. Mostly recovered now, but I'm still fragile, I guess, compared to pre-injury. So if I do make a mistake and have a crash, the consequences are a lot higher than they were back then.
Does that take some of the mental edge out of it for you? Like when you, because you're still jumping big, like you're talking about, you're on the LE 9R boost, and sent that thing off the edge of the earth. Like just, I don't know. It's so hard to just describe these jumps because you're jumping so flipping big. And when you say, yeah, I watched Andreas, like I figured out my jumping crap from Andreas. It's like, okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah, right. Not a bad person to learn from.
No, like it's almost this philosophy of like, no, we don't do little jumps. You do big. You do full throttle, 200 feet or nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's just mind-boggling how big you guys go on that. But yeah, so when you're lining up for something like that on the LE this spring, do you have that in the back of your mind? Like, does it take that desire to go big out of your head a little bit?
No, it does force me to acknowledge the consequences are higher if something goes wrong, but that's really all that it changes. There's such a passion and obsession with like pushing the limit and trying to progress that desire outweighs like the nerves of past injury, I guess. Still try to be smart and like recognize, risk is higher since my body's not as strong as it was at that point, but still going to do it. And I really do wait for the perfect conditions to do big things like that. And if you look at the content from that jump specifically, it was sunny. I had an all-time crew. I had like 3 feet of fresh pow. It literally was best conditions possible to make something big like that happen. And that's kind of the situation with anything I do in the air right now. It's not that I don't do stuff. I just wait until everything's stacked in my favor to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, let's jump back into the mod sled, the Caleb Kesterke Special.
Yeah.
What is there a name for it?
It's Caleb's factory mod. That's what we call it.
So what was the catalyst for this project?
So it's funny, you actually just brought it up. So that LE jump from the spring. So I think a lot of people know this. When we launched a new sled, we launched a limited edition last spring. We try and build a handful of extras and then get them to all our athletes to ride during snow check just to have. And there are sleds, we get them back. They're just stock, nothing crazy, the new sled. And Caleb, of course, had one. And I was sitting at my desk one morning in March, and my watch buzzes, and I see it's a text from Caleb, and it says, "Can I post this?" And then it says, "Image attached," or "Video attached." And I was like, uh-oh. So I pull it up, and I click it, and it's that LE, the hit on that LE. And I watched it like 3 times, and I was like, holy smokes, that's massive. And then it clicked. I was like, I think that's the marketing sled we just sent him like a week ago. So I was like, is that our? He's like, yeah, your marking at least 26 works great. Like, thanks, jump's awesome, So that was kind of the unofficial catalyst for it. We've over the last couple of years, we've really tried to just build some cool sleds again. We built Levi's jump sled that he jumped the F1 car. That was a project we built in Roseau. We built Turcotte's freestyle sled. So we've been trying to just build some more fun sleds in addition to all the race sleds that we're doing. So kind of brought all that together, and we decided on our list of summer projects was to build a factory mod for Caleb.
Back in the day before the athlete thing was so big, on all the loaners, when media would take them out, we had to sign a piece of paper that said we wouldn't get skis off the ground. No jumping. So you launching a loaner, a media loaner, 300 feet, and then sending the video back to Polaris, like, that's balls. That's pretty good. I like that.
And for the record, my response to the "Can I post this?" was absolutely, after I was done taking in how big it was.
How far was that? Like
222 and a half feet. I measured it out.
Don't forget the half.
Yeah, it matters.
22 and a half. It's probably more like 5 inches there, but
round it up.
Whatever, we'll round it up.
We tried to measure it as accurately as possible.
That's awesome.
It was big enough that I was like, I think I need to have a number with this one, because it's so easy to exaggerate, and like, I didn't want to exaggerate it. Like, I know this is big. Like, I need to know the actual number. What
do you measure that with? Like, do you bring a tape out with you, or like
one of those like golf spotting like yardage markers or something?
Yeah, a tape's the best way to do it. We had rope, and we measured it out with rope, and then took the rope home and measured the rope at home. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a fishing story.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, grab one more loop of rope.
Right, pretty much. Yeah, I'm pumped Polaris wanted to do the project. I would say it's a dream come true, but like, I didn't even dream of something like that happening. So it's pretty wild. It feels surreal to like think about Polaris is building like a mod sled specifically for me. That's kind of absurd. So pumped on the whole project and pumped to ride it, and really appreciate you guys thinking of me and having me do it.
Yeah, there's not many people sending it 222 and a half feet. So.
Hey, when's the Ryan Harris mod coming?
When's your 222 and a half foot jump coming?
It ain't.
It ain't. Okay.
No, this is gonna be a totally different project. This will be like a 120, like a 120cc sled, mod sled. Or bring the pit bike scene to the sled world.
There you go.
So tell me about that sled. So it's an 850 Patriot Boost with the 9R factory race kit in it.
Yeah. So it really is, the best way to describe it is it's basically a backcountry version of our open mod sleds. So we've had a lot of fun building our open mod sleds for Rimshaw. Obviously, from the very first, back in 21 when it was kind of a pre-production Patriot Boost in the mod class, and we did a lot of development there, brought 9R in. And really, like, those mod sleds have become very specialized race equipment. They kind of treat them like F1 cars. Like Andy, Keith, Sam, and Cole have our 4 factory mods, we call them. And they don't really ride them without us. Like, it kind of takes a team to support them. They're really specialized. They're incredibly light. They got a lot of prototype parts on them. They burn fuel that's almost $40 a gallon. Like they're a lot. They're really cool, but they're a lot. And so what we wanted to do is kind of take all the cool stuff we had built with those and then put it in a package that we could go rip 1,000 miles in the backcountry and have a bunch of fun with. Caleb could have fun with, film, do some different stuff. So it's really taken our open mod package with some new custom parts and then just some backcountry-ification, if you will, right, to make it work all day out in the snow.
So what is the difference in the motor? Like what is a factory 9R?
Starting with the motor, it is our full open mod engine package. So that is identical. So the 4 guys listed, and then Justin Thomas as well runs our engine package. So the 5 of them run our 9R boost engine package for 9 mod and open mod, and that's exactly, we basically built an extra and put it under the hood. So it's surprisingly stock. I think that's what people would be really surprised by.
So it's not like major porting and different rods and...
So it's a 9R base. Rotating assembly is the same as a 9R. It's a production 9R case, everything like that. We touch the cylinders up a little bit just for the application. It's got basically a lightweight version of our pipe. So it's the same shape. It's just, we don't have the big heat shield and some of that stuff. We just build a lighter version, basically. It's a stock boost turbo with just a couple lightweight replacement parts, basically. So it's like stock geometry, stock dimensions, things like that. We just put a couple titanium parts in there instead of aluminum.
Like in impellers and that and shafts or housing?
I'd have to triple check with Darren on that one.
Like the spinning stuff, so a little more.
Yeah,
less
but we just take
quicker.
a little weight out of it, just so that it responds a little quicker. And then we just put a muffler on it. But that's it. It's got stock injectors in it, runs a stock intake system, stock injection system, stock VES. All that's the same. I think that's maybe a big misconception that we see internally with the way boost engines are now is the hardware as it comes is really good. We're just really limited on the production side by the fuel and the emissions. The hardware is awesome. When you got to build a calibration that runs 91 octane and not just really good, fresh 91 octane that just came out of the field truck, but 91 octane that maybe has been there for a little bit. And then we got to pass emissions and sound requirements. It restricts us a little bit. So when we get to build race engines or build something like this, it's largely stock hardware. We just get to turn the cal up a lot.
Jeez. So chassis-wise, is the structure the same?
Yep.
It's just off the production line?
Yeah, so it started life as a 26 chassis. We built it on the line. So it's a 155 slash, so short tunnel chassis. We built out on the line and then kind of built from there. But from a structure standpoint, it's stock.
So let's hit on the suspension quick, and then we'll dive into the next aspect of it. So front and rear suspension, what have you done different?
So stock front end as far as arms. So it's our, every RMK comes with fully forged aluminum A-arms and spindles. So stock there, white skis, because that's what Caleb likes. So that's what we put on it. And then in the back, we did 155 geometry. It is a chaos geometry. The shock cal is quite a bit different, so it doesn't necessarily ride like a chaos or a pro, but it is chaos geometry. We did a custom set of rails in the back, so it's HD rails. So they're about 40% stronger when we pushed on them on the load cell at work. Dave, our engineer who does the rest of our rails, drew the rails up. So it's our rim shop, kind of more rim shop profile. So if you notice, rim shop rail profile is a little different. There's just more material, kind of where the front torque arm comes in. It's a little heavier, but for something like this, that's just fine. But otherwise, it's our same kind of base extrusion, we call it. So the architecture of the rail is the same. Doesn't have nearly as many cutouts and just a lot stronger. It's our stock material. Every rail we make for RMKs is 7000 series aluminum extruded. So all of our rails are good stuff. There really wasn't a reason to go bigger or go up on the material. Just a little stronger in where it needs to be.
Suspension hangers are all the same?
Yep.
Not beefing anything up on that?
That's all the same. We do put little braces behind we call them the drop brackets, basically. Just a little bracing back there, but otherwise that's it. And that's what our open mods are too. You go stick your head under the tunnel of an open mod and you're like, yeah, that looks like the sled I have at home. So.
What about coolers? What does this run?
Stock short tunnel cooler. Then it's got our new scratch. Well, I suppose they're not new anymore. A couple years old scratchers. Yeah, all that is stock. And then on the shock side, so it's our snowcross shock package. So that's what's on it. So it's our snowcross sleds run full 2-inch 5/8 shafts, Walker Evans velocity, high-low compression and rebound. big reservoirs, big bridges, like big shafts, like all the good stuff. Obviously, we work extremely close with Walker Evans, and so they were able to make us basically a set of snowcross shocks just in like RMK lengths and geometry. So it's still got, and you'll see it when we pull the sheet tomorrow, it's still got like big reservoirs, like all of that capacity. There's a little shorter in the front, and then the rear skid's a little different geometry. But yeah, like nobody, like you can't buy a mountain sled with 2-inch shocks on it, like all around. And so we've been doing some development with them on the rim shaft side as well. There's just huge benefits to not only the capacity and like the capability of them, but when you step up to a bigger shock, you just have way more flexibility in the calibration. You can make it softer on the top and make it not bottom. When you got a small shock, not to make this a shock tuning podcast, but like when you got a small shock, you kind of have to pick at some level, like whether you want it to ride nice or whether you want it to not bottom. Mm-hmm. And here you kind of get both, and then with all the adjustment, it's pretty rad. So, and then we anodize them black just because they look sweet in black, and we thought it kind of fit the vibe. So we had them made black.
No, we could talk about shocks all day. Like I build trucks with Ford, and we just did another Carly system. And if you go to the 2.5-inch shock, like we're on a Carly Pathfinder right now, totally different ball game than just being on the 2-inch truck shock. But that's a different story. What track are you running on this?
It's got a 325 in it, 155. Yep.
I pretty much strictly run 325s.
You like that track?
I really
love that track. Like I love that track everywhere. Although I was going to hit you up and ask you if you had a few laying around.
I get that question a lot. I think that might be the number one question I get for parts is, hey, you got any 325s up there? Like, I'd take an extra if you got one. But
I asked Kathy before you. I asked Kathy, hey, can I set up like a parts count with you guys? Get like the race discount. So how is this thing 30 pounds lighter?
Yeah, it's got our lightweight bodywork package on it. So for rim shot, it's got a Speedworks hood on it with their intake, and we work closely with Speedworks on a lot of stuff on the hill climb side. It's got lightweight side panels, so they look the same. You grab them and you're like, oh, that's quite a bit lighter. And then the real cherry of the build is the tank. So it's got a hand-built aluminum tank on it. So 8-gallon tank, and that's quite a bit lighter as well. And then it's got a exhaust lost quite a bit of weight between our race pipe with no heat shielding and things like that, and then the race muffler on it. So
part of that 30 pounds is 2 gallons of fuel.
That's dry. Yep.
Oh, dry weight.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll have to hang it, but that's our estimate is 30 pounds. So, but yeah, the tank's the real cherry. Like we were talking about the build. We were kind of talking about it in the shop, and Darren Headland's like the ringleader of all of these builds. That's kind of what he does, and him and Taylor and Scott Rhodes and I were chatting about it. We're like, I think it's got to have an aluminum tank. Like, it just has to. Nobody makes one for a Matrix. We obviously make the minis for the rimshaw sleds, right? 1.5 gallons and a little bit of oil, enough to get up the hill and back down and repeat. But yeah, so Jesse Logan drew up the tank in CAD, and then we made him in Roseau in the fab shop, and then Darren welded him up. Caleb got to see his welded up when he came up last week, which was pretty sweet. Yeah, and then we custom painted the whole thing. So Jordan from Arctic FX helped us out on the wrap and worked with us there. But we've talked about this before. We've made a huge investment in the paint system in Roseau, and it seems like kind of a lame thing. Like, yeah, you got a paint system, of course. Like, you got to paint sleds. Like, who cares? What it lets us do like full-on 3-stage paint, and we do that in SnowCheck, and we dialed it up a little bit with this one. So it's a black base on the whole sled, and then real metal flake. So we call it black crystal. Mm-hmm. So it's got real metal flake in it, and then clear on top, and we painted the tank red. So yeah, it's kind of cool to do a lot of little things.
Is this a 1 of 1?
Yeah.
You better make this thing last.
Yeah, right.
There'll be a little box of spares that go to Montana, but not too many.
Oh man! So how excited are you for this?
I couldn't be more excited. I'm already losing sleep over thinking about riding it. So it's just like the combination of everything, like the whole Polaris building a mod sled for me. That's wild. Having more power, like I said, I don't even know what to expect. Like, I don't know what that's going to feel like. And then the shock package, I'm really pumped for that. I love running Olin's, like, they perform phenomenal, but this is a little different. Like, it's a snowcross shock for the backcountry, built by Walker Evans. So like, it's going to be kind of the ultimate package to ride a sled super aggressively.
That's cool. I'm excited for the content. Like, I can't wait. Like, the stuff you're doing just on production sleds is insane. Like, 200, what is it, 260?
Yep, and that's 110. So that's kind of the other piece that we did is it's a full engine package, but running just 110 so that he can get it. Our open mod stuff runs next gen VP fuel. We partner with them on, and it's about $40 a gallon. That VP fuel, and Caleb said he wasn't really interested in $400 tanks of fuel, so we decided regular old 110 would do the job.
So on those engines, what's the horsepower?
It's over 300.
That big of a difference just on fuel.
Yep, and that's kind of what I talked about. And like Darren talks about that a lot. Darren's, I think you're probably hard pressed to find a two-stroke expert more than Darren Hedlund in this world. But that's what he always says is like the hardware is good, the fuel is the moneymaker. So
between Keith's factory and Caleb's factory, there's no like compression difference, head difference. Nothing's different inside the engine.
Fuel and calibration.
Oh, that is insane.
Yep.
Man, do you have any experience like changing main jets on the snow? Speaking of 14,000 feet.
Yeah, a little bit. I had snowcross sleds that I was taking in the backcountry and jumping.
Okay.
So I had to deal
so
with that
you
a little
appreciate
bit.
the level that we're at,
yeah,
like in 2026.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's crazy. 'Cause, I mean, you know how hard it was to get, like, you go back to the 90s, and high altitude compensating carbs and things like that, just how hard it was to just get consistency, let alone horsepower. Like, oh man, the battles we had.
I've heard. The old timers like to tell stories about those days.
I catch myself telling one, and then I'm like, I'm an old timer now, aren't I?
As the old guys in powertrain say, we had to move to EFI because we couldn't read the numbers on the jets anymore. Eyesight got too bad, so we had to move to fuel injection.
That sounds about right. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, we had a blast building it. I think that's something that we've really found with, like I said, the race stuff we've been building, and the race stuff is very much an engineering exercise. Like, we treat race as pre-development, and you kind of see that in our product line. But these fun project sleds, like I said, the Levi jump sled we built, Turcotte's backcountry freestyle sled, like, there's a little lower stress, right? They're, a little lower. Just racing is just everything's amplified and everything's really, really intense. And these are just fun projects, and everybody likes to work on them. You got to meet a lot of the crew when you were up, but like there were 20 different people that kind of pitched in a little bit of extra time on putting this sled together, and because they like fun projects. You walk over to Dave's desk and say, "Hey, I need a set of big rails for Caleb." He's like, "Oh, I can take an hour. That'd be kind of cool." Like, I kind of been wanting to try an idea like this. Maybe I'll bump this over here and see how that does. And we enjoy working on them.
I can't imagine the stuff that comes out of the race shop. I can't imagine the stuff that didn't come out of the race shop. The ideas, hey, let's try this, see what this looks like. Okay, put that on a shelf. We'll save that for later. That might work in 10 years when we can get the rest of the vehicle to do what that might help with. Like, there's got to be, I don't know. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot more stories, a lot more podcasts with the Polaris team here, diving in. Hopefully we can get Darren Hedlund on.
Yep.
And
I'll make him do it.
All right, let's do that. Okay. We definitely got to have that one. All right, Caleb Kesterke, Nels Eide. We're going to go get some B-roll footage of the Caleb Kesterke factory mod. So on this video on YouTube, you'll be able to watch, see all the parts we're talking about and see everything up close. If you're listening to this show on Snow West Magazine YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out. We got a lot of content coming this winter, and we appreciate you listening and appreciate you watching. Make sure you're following Caleb. If you're not, I think everybody is. Everybody in their family is. But if you want some excitement in the winter, you got to follow this guy. He posts some great content like that. Yeah, that's one thing you've got dialed. Like you do as well or better than most any athlete in the industry is content. You supply the content.
Oh, thank you.
And it's crazy. Like some of the climbs you did a year or two ago into the rocks. Like you have that rock garden up in your neck of the woods.
Yep, a couple of them.
And you jumped into one last year or the year before and landed in this gap. And I mean, just the fact that you're doing that in the first place, but then you go land in between these two boulders and I don't know. Crazy stuff, but keep it up. You do a great job with the content.
I appreciate it. It's pretty fun.
You're a great follow. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.